And we are back. Just like last time, it has been a bit. But hopefully we should be able to pick up streaming at some point. I have one more assessment due at the end of this week, so I'll be spending some time focusing on that. But today, I want to get back into it, and I want to try to finish a good chunk of the Arsenal system. And with that said, I think we should just really jump into it. So, what I want to do today is focus on the tamed slimes. In last stream, we ended up getting the slimes to be able to be thrown. So now, we pretty much have like the core Arsenal system done, right? We can throw the slimes, we can swap between them in our Arsenal, in our team on the left-hand side of the screen. So my first priority today is going to be re-picking up the slimes, essentially. So once we've thrown them, I want to be able to get them back in my Arsenal. And the best way that I can realistically do that, I think, that would work at least somewhat well, is pretty much the exact same system as throwing them. So if we hold right click, which if we have a slime, holding right click will pull our arm back, or like we're going to throw the slime that's selected. If we don't have a slime selected in the left menu, then holding right click will pull out the capsule to actually catch or pick up one of the slimes. And I think for the purpose of actually adding a slime to your team, they have to be tamed. I still haven't figured out the exact taming methods I want for all of the slimes yet, but I want you to actually have to tame the slimes in order to be able to use them in your arsenal. Which means this slime is going to have to be tamed when I'm holding right click, and it will automatically pick it up once you get within a certain distance, I think, from it. I think that'll be the easiest solution, so you can just basically run past the slime and you'll still end up picking it up, which will be great for traversal as the player is exploring. Throw a slime that can blow up some rocks that are in the way, and you can run past and it'll automatically pick up that slime so you can keep moving. So that's going to be our first step, I guess, today. And with that said, we need to set up a taming manager system. So let's get into the code. First, let's start with our slime data. So I think actually, first of all, we don't realistically need a region because it's going to be small enough. So we need to have a, I guess, taming variables. And the key things that we need is there's going to be two variables. The first is a boolean for if the slime is tamed, right? We need to be able to quickly check, is it tamed? And then that way we can handle any code. And in order to make this work for co-op, we should also add in another field. This one will be... We'll do a game object for now, I think. This is essentially going to be the owner, I guess, would be a good apt word for that. I think when we actually go to add co-op, because we're going to want this to work when you save the game, so when you leave the game, come back to the game, and because it's co-op, I think it's probably best that we put it in as an ID, so every player gets a unique ID when they spawn in. That's how Minecraft handles it. They use a UUID, and I think that works well. For the purpose of this, we're just going to go with a game object, though. Now, let's handle actually holding out the capsule. So that is essentially the same as aiming here. And while we're holding right click, then we'll just see if there's a slime nearby, I guess. So we can probably handle that in this one function. I don't think we need 2 functions. So what we'll need to do then is we will make a split statement in this if statement for aiming. And that split will be essentially if the player is holding a slime or if they're holding an empty capsule. Right? If they're holding a slime, they should be aiming to throw. If they're holding a capsule, they should be aiming to actually grab the slimes nearby. So if the player is has a slime selected, start aiming, and we'll just bring over the arsenal selection being not null. And we'll chuck everything in there. Otherwise, we will hold out capsule to grab this a tame slime. We don't need brackets. Okay. Now, we're not actually realistically going to be playing any animations yet because we still don't have a character model. I think that'll be the next step after getting this system working, is trying to find a good like arms model that's rigged that I can start setting up some of the animations, and that'll help make it look a lot more polished. For now, all we need to do though is check if there's a slime nearby, and if it's tamed to the player, then we'll catch it. So, easiest way to do that would be to give every slime a tag. So, let's go to the basic slime prefab. It currently is on the player layer. So, let's change that. I think it'll be layers. I think we'll do it in layers. There we go. We'll give that a slime layer, and then just give the basic slime prefab that layer. And we only needed to do it. We'll do just this object, I think, right? Because this is the one that actually has the collider, and that's all that should matter, at least. I think that'll be fine. Okay. So we need to get all nearby slimes, and I think that's going to be interesting, because we need it to be efficient while doing this. Just trying to think on how we can do that. Let's make sure the stream's not actually going black. Okay. Yeah, I guess just an overlap sphere or a sphere check would work decently well. Let's see. Let me make sure think I just need to reset my website here. Every time I swap over to the website, it's been going black. So we'll just bring that back up. Like so. Okay. We should be good. Cool. Okay. Let's, I guess, go for an overlap sphere. It'll probably be the best method. So what we'll be doing is, let me go find the player, is as we hold right click, we're going to check a sphere around the player object. And if there is a slime within that set radius, check if it's tamed. If it's tamed, pick it up. And we should be able to do that and just get the first slime that's found that is tamed, because when we're holding right click, we're checking that we're not holding any slime. So the moment we pick up a slime, it will be added to our selected slot, meaning that it should immediately stop detecting to pick up any other slimes. So let's go ahead and write that. I'm just trying to think of comments. I think it's probably easiest to not write comments and then come up with that later. Just close that. So we're going to check for a simple overlap sphere. And in the overlap sphere, we're going to be going from the player's transform, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the best. I mean, I think it should, because, yeah, okay. The player's pivot's at the bottom, which means that we're getting pretty much pure radius around. So I think that should be fine. Because if it was starting like at the center of the player, then you might be getting slimes that are a bit too far out because they're really small, that they're not going to be detected. Then we need a radius, so we'll make that an actual variable. Let's give it... I don't know, maybe under aim variables. I feel like we need a better name though. So let's just make this, I guess, pick up radius. And we'll make it like 2 meters or so. There we go. Okay. So now we'll just use that pick up radius, like so. And is it a layer first, or is it? I'm trying to remember. I haven't done overlap sphere in a second. There should be an out, shouldn't there, for an overlap sphere? I think. Maybe not. Out. Just an array of colliders, I guess. Oh. I need to remember how this works. I'm just looking at the overlap sphere documentation on Unity. I think we might just need to do it as a variable first, by the looks of it. If it's just... let's close it off. If it's just a variable, and then we'll just loop through the collider list, essentially. We'll just make a slimes, nearby slimes list. Like so. Now we can give it a slime layer, so... I mean, there's only going to be one layer for slime, frankly, so we should be able to do, I think, name to layer. Yeah. And we can just put that as the slime name. Cool. Then, instead of an if statement, we'll just loop through the nearby slimes list. Slime collider in the nearby slimes list. Okay, now we need to go get the actual slimes data, which will be pretty simple. We'll just get the slime data component. And we'll just make that slime data is the slime collider. Get component slime data. Cool. And simply check if it's tamed, I guess. If the slime is tamed and its owner is the player, then we'll pick up the slime. So, and once we do find them, what we'll do is break out of the for each loop, because we only want to be able to pick up one singular slime. Let's just quickly comment this out then. Get nearby slimes. List of nearby slimes. Find slimes in pickup radius. Complete slime found. Check if it is. Try to pick up. I think that makes the most sense. So now we pretty much just need to transfer the slimes data into the Arsenal manager, right? So it's no different to when we actually throw the slimes here, where we will get the slimes data from, where is it? Just trying to figure out where that slime data is. Are we even... Did we even add slime data when we throw? I can't tell if I'm just going blind or not. When we get the slime type to get the prefab, we might need to look into that. But I mean, it's no different to actually swapping between this for the selected slime, right? Just getting Arsenal current selection.name. Instead, it would be getting the slime data and adding it into the Arsenal. So all we'll need to do to make that happen is pretty much just go in the Arsenal's current selection. We'll just set that to the slime data. that copies over the information, then I think we should just be able to. No. I think it's slimecoal dot name object destroy. There we go. And we're just destroy, get rid of the slime that's actually in game, because we don't need it anymore. That is pretty much as simple as it gets. You are just copying the data over and then destroying the game object. We might need to use the new keyword, but I guess we'll find that out in a second. So let's go ahead and hit play. Now, when we throw out the slime, it should actually fail, I guess, to... Oh, we're lagging again. I don't know why we keep lagging. But when I throw this out, it should stop having its data by the looks of it. So we'll just have to look into that. However, if I hold right click... Ooh, okay. Get component requires that the requested component slime data derives from a mono behavior. Okay. So let's just check this. It has a slime controller, and then the slime controller has the data class in it. So we'll be getting a slime controller script, and from there we get the data variable, maybe. It's private, that's why. We should be able to make that public. Hide it in the inspector because we don't need any devs being able to look at the slime data. There we go. And then with that being public, we should be able to get the slime data. There we go. Okay. We should also be converting slime data down here. So let's do that now, just so that we can actually test everything properly. So after we create the slime, we need to transfer its data. So that'll be as simple as get the slime data, get the slime controller, and then transfer slime data. There we go. That should work. So we burn out the slime, and then I hold right click. And that's not going to work. Why is that not working? So getting the slime controller component dot slime data, and it's saying that slime controller itself is not an instance when trying to read the value, so it's not finding the slime controller script. Okay. Let's comment out, yeah, all of that for now. I'm trying to remember. It's debug log, isn't it? Slime controller. And we'll just go get the slime controller component and see if that is found, I guess. Hold right click. Null. And then slime controller. Okay. So It's got to be that layer or something. Well, this should be, first of all, capital. Let's also get the slime name, because that'll tell us exactly what objects it's getting. It sounds like it's getting like 6 separate objects. So we hold right click, throw it, then I hold right click here. Nothing. So it's not actually finding anything now, even though this very clearly has the slime layer, which is layer 6. It's not finding any objects now. Great, we've made it worse than it was a second ago. We could try increasing the pickup radius or something, like make it a 10 so we definitely know where as close as possible to the slime. Nothing. So is this not how layer masks is supposed to work? Given a layer name, returns the layer index as defined. That should be fine. Why is that not finding it? Okay. Maybe get mask would be a better solution, I guess. And then we're gonna have to move this all into a separate if statement anyways. Because right now, when we start aiming, I'm pretty sure that's only on like the first frame, so we're gonna need to move that. So hold right click. There we go. Okay, now we have the basic slime. Awesome. So it was pretty much just, yeah, we had to move to a get mask option, which is fine. So that's fine. Now we're going to move this out into a separate if statement, because we actually need to be holding down aim to check. However, we'll keep this else like this, because we'll use the was press this frame to actually run the animation of the character pulling the capsule out, but then we'll actually check holding the aim button entirely to try to grab the slime. So if the player is holding aim and the slime is not selected, I guess. Try to pick up nearby slimes. And it'll work the exact same, but I think it is pressed instead of was pressed this frame. And we'll also add in that check for Arsenal current selection, which has to be null. And we'll just paste that here. Yeah, okay. So that should work, theoretically. We'll see if the destroy works, because it might be trying to use the component data of slime data, not like a copy, and that could break it. So I guess we're about to find out. But now I should be able to hold right click from a distance and then make my way to it as well. Maybe. Now it just doesn't want to work at all. Okay. Of course it doesn't. I mean, I don't see any reason why this shouldn't be working. The only reason why this wouldn't work, I guess, is if the overall if statement's not happening. So let's just make a test log, I guess, and we'll also, you know, hit a test log again inside of the for loop to make sure that we're definitely capturing the slime. Okay. That's definitely working. So actually, yeah, it's just got to be the tame thing, because I actually don't think we're taming it yet. Okay. It should be fine. So what we'll do... Actually, no, the slime data will already be tamed. So we don't need to, like, re-tame it. What we need to do is just purely for this, is set the slime data in the start value. So let's do that. Let's also move Slimy up to our first slot, so I don't have to keep pressing E twice every time we test this out. So let's tame Slimy, which will be simple. That's just Slimy dot is tamed is true, and the owner is the player game object. And then that should just fix this, I think. So let's we need to actually fix this as well. So what's happening right now is, as we're holding right click, we go to throw the slime, and the moment we hit throw, it's immediately detecting and trying to pick up the slime. And we don't want that. I'm thinking maybe we could do maybe a buffer time, so after you throw it, you have to wait like a second or so before it lets you pick it up, I guess. I think the easiest method would be in the slime controller to give it like an is thrown or has been thrown type of variable. But I think that makes the most sense. So what we'll do is we'll put that in a general variable. We'll make that. I will hide it in the inspector because we don't need to know about it. But we'll make it a public boolean called is thrown. Then what we'll do is when we actually throw the slimes, set is thrown to true. So, and all we need to do is basically make a on collision hit, make is thrown false. Essentially that way the slime will say it's thrown, and the moment it lands, then it's ready to be picked up. It can't be picked up while it's still in the air. So we'll make a collision enter. So if is thrown is true, set to false. Honestly, I don't think we even need to put an if statement because like it's not really efficient. You know, we're checking if it's true to set it to false, but we're always checking. It's no different realistically to setting it because it's just a boolean. But for now, we'll do it at least. Set it to false, like so. And then that way, all we have to do here is say, we'll get the slime controller component separately to the slime data then. Controller. And then getting the slime data from controller. And this will let us just check, is it tamed? Is it tamed to us? And then, is it thrown? And it needs to not be thrown. So basically it has already landed for it to be pick-upable, I guess, is how you'd word that. Okay, so we hold right click, now left click. Looks like we have Slimy back, so he immediately... Yeah, he's just getting immediately put in. Let's figure that out. When we throw him, is thrown is true. Okay, so it's colliding way too quickly. Easiest way to fix that is if the collision we should be able to get the layer from it. I think it's game object layer is equal to, we'll just do the same thing, layer to name. Oh no, name to layer, and set that for the player, like so. That way, it will only go to is thrown is false on colliding on an object, not on the player. Because when we're throwing the slimes, they're essentially spawning inside of the player or just outside, so it can still collide a bit. Still not doing it. Oh wait, we're checking if it is player. If it's not player, there we go. What is this? 196. Oh. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. Let's see if this works. So now, if I hold right click and left click, yeah, he gets thrown out. And then I can hold right click. And that did. Yep, that did pick him up. It just didn't update the Arsenal menu. Great. So what we'll do, we will set transfer the slime data to the Arsenal slot. Destroy slime game object. Then all we need to do now is essentially update the Arsenal, which we've been doing manually. So let's try to actually make a function dedicated to update Arsenal menu, I guess. Well, not the menu. What are we gonna call the left? Because we're gonna have a separate actual menu where you can see it in much bigger, like across the whole screen. So, like the team viewer is kind of what I've been referring it as. So update team viewer. We can change that name anytime we want. Team viewer. And pretty much this start function, we're just moving it into this script here. Pretty simple. And every time we make a change, essentially, we're just going to re-update the team viewer. It's not too bad. Like, it's not too resource intensive because it's realistically just changing a name and some images. So it shouldn't cause any lag to update the whole viewer when any minor change happens. And this will keep it 100% updated. We'll do the same thing here, update team viewer. Then let's set the pickup radius back down to, let's go 1.5 and we'll see what that does. So now I can hold right click. No, actually, I'm not even seeing the icon for Slimy anymore. Why am I not seeing the icon? Because we are updating TeamViewer on start, which goes through the whole thing, sets the icon, the shadow. I don't know why the icon is not updating now. It should be updating directly on start. Oh, okay. This time it is. That was strange. Hold right click, left click to throw. The team viewer did not update. Now I can hold right click and I run past him. And I do have him. I can throw him again. Team viewer is not updating, but otherwise it works, essentially. So why is update team viewer not working here? When we throw the slime, which is this one here, yep, on left click, throw slime, update team viewer. We need to do that after we remove him from the arsenal. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's see how this works. It should now just work. So we have Slimy, hold right click, left click, still no. Why is it not updating the team viewer? Because we've already removed it from the current selection. And now we're just simply updating the team viewer. I don't know why that would not work. We can just save the script again, I guess. Because the arsenal gets changed, we're clearing the arsenal current selection, and then we're updating the team viewer, which should theoretically just work, but it's clearly not. Now, when we swap back over, you can see that there's definitely nothing there. So it's purely just the fact that it's not updating after we throw. I'm not too sure why that would be happening, frankly. Because unless the actual code itself is broken, I just don't know why. Or maybe, okay. Okay, I think I understand. It's only updating if that Arsenal slot has something. So it's pretty much only adding, but it's never removing. That makes sense. So what we'll do is hide any slime icons that essentially don't have an actual slime there. So that'll be really simple. That'll just be setting all of these like so. But we don't have slime type here. We should be just setting it to nothing and hiding the icon shadow. Essentially is all we need to do here. That's pretty much all we were doing when we threw the slime. Now this isn't going to update the text, I believe, so we still need to handle that, but I just want to see if this is going to work at all. Yep. So now we just need to update the text that appears, essentially the slime's name. That's easy to do. That'll be really easy to do. Because it'll just be the exact same as what we did above, but there's nothing there, so we just show nothing, just an empty string. So now hold right click, left click to throw. Perfect. And if I go to let's go to the third slot and I pick it up, that works. The name's not being updated, but I can hold right click if I go out and back in, throw it again, go to the first inventory slot and run past it while holding right click. The name did actually update that time, whereas this one here, holding right click, doesn't. So what I would say is, yeah, we're checking if it's the first slime, which is not what we should be doing. We should be checking if it's the current selection, which defaults to the first slime at the very start of the game, but throughout won't be, obviously. So that should be all we need to do there for picking up tame slimes. We'll run it again, see if anything breaks, but it should be fine. So let's see, hold right click, throw the slime, go to third inventory slot, right click, and we can see the slime's name. Perfect. We can launch that. That's a lot of throw force, so I think we're going to drop that throw force a bit. I mean, maybe like just a 10 or something. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. We'll go to 10. Just a bit more reasonable. And let's make the default pickup radius and throw force. Update them there as well. And the only reason why I'm having set variables in the code is that I want to be able to open up any random scene, drag the player prefab, and it'll automatically work. But also create a new player from scratch, like a new game object, throw a player movement controller, and all of the general variables to make it work exist. So that's all we need for picking up slimes and essentially setting the fact that slimes are tamed. I think the only other thing that we could probably do is potentially removing the is tamed boolean. I mean, in fairness, it is a bit redundant. So what that would look like is over here, instead of checking if it is tamed and then check which owner, we can check if the owner is not null. So check if the owner exists. If so, check if the owner is the player. And if we did that here and in our up here, And that's fine. I think that's the only thing that actually has it. Then we should be able to just remove is tamed. Right, there's realistically no need for is tamed. It's a bit redundant. So we can remove it from up here. And that should work, right? Because the big issue is just checking if the slime is tamed. And we can check that by saying, is its owner field, does it actually have a variable in there? Does it have a player in there? Because if there's no player in the owner, then there's no owner, then it's not tamed. So we don't really need two variables for that. So this should be fine. Let's go ahead and submit this to the version control. Just call it added pickup tamed slimes. No, that does not work. I don't know what's going on with my version control. I use Perforce, and the Unity plugin for it just seems to be breaking all the time now. So I think I just need to submit it directly on Perforce's app. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's just submit. There we go. Cool. That's most of the Arsenal system done, in fairness. We don't have custom slime types yet, right? We just have the basic slime, so it would be nice to change that, I think. But for now, I mean, it does its job, right? And that's all that matters. You can throw slimes, pick up slimes, all that. We still don't have a taming method. And we don't have a, like the Arsenal manager menu. So that'll be another big thing to add. I'm just trying to think if it's worth doing that, or if it's worth getting a, getting the player model set up. I feel like if we had a good player model, that would go a long way into making this feel a little bit more polished, and so that we can actually see everything working. And realistically, all we need, at least for now, is arms. We don't need a whole player model, a body, or anything like that. We just want arms to play in first-person animations, right? So for aiming, throwing, all of that. Though we don't actually have capsules to throw either, so we'll need to deal with that. I'm just trying to think on if that's worth getting that now, or if we do the team manager menu first. I'm not too sure what we're going to be adding to the team manager. That's the only issue. Because you will definitely have... I don't have Critter on me. But we'll definitely have 6 slots for our slimes. It'll probably be split. I would say similar to Pokemon. So we'll go like 3 and 3 in 2 different rows. And then I guess when you select one, you'll be able to see all their stats a little bit better. See the description of the slime they are. Actually, yeah, honestly, I think we could probably do that now. I think that would be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. So what we need to do then is go to... where is it? Where's our UI? Is it under player? Oh yeah, it is under player for the HUD. I'm trying to think on how to actually do this. Again, I'm pretty new to UI Builder, so I'm just trying to get a grip on it, because I'm pretty sure we'll have one document just for the HUD, and we'll have a separate document for all of our menus, so our inventory, settings, all of that. Though settings honestly might be a whole nother menu separate to all of these. So then would we have a different UI document per menu? Or just have different menus in the hierarchy? Because I don't think you can hide these, right? Like, I mean, you can toggle visibility, but unless there's like a shortcut to do it, it's gonna suck having to scroll all the way up just to test out visibility. Let's just see if there's any information on what's the better standard to use. The main menu layout with tabs that switch to different windows. It sounds to me like the best solution would just be one document. That's what I'm getting from what I'm seeing online right now. Okay, be fine. In fairness, honestly, we might split up the HUD itself at some point so that we have just Arsenal stuff, Radical stuff, as separate game objects. Because that could be interesting. But I'm not sure. For now, let's just go into our UI. Let's go with that basic slime. And we'll make a new game object. We'll just call this one menus. Make that a folder, and we'll create the Arsenal manager menu. And we're just going to be creating another new UI document for these. Yeah. So we need the USS and the UXML. So let's just call this Arsenal Manager Menu. We'll keep it to the same standards. We'll end up with style or UI. There we go. Actually, we might not even have... Yeah, I think if we're going for like a unified system, this might just be the menus style sheet as a whole. I mean, that makes the most sense to me. No point in having separate style sheets for every single menu when realistically it should... I mean, it should feel like you're on one menu just changing the pages. So menu style and then the Arsenal Manager UI. We'll just add existing USS. There we go. Now let's go Arsenal Manager menu. Adding in a UI document. We already have the panel settings made, and then just add in the Arsenal Manager UI. Now this needs to by default be turned off, right? I mean, honestly, one of the easiest solutions is probably literally just unchecking it, but I feel like that's not how I should be doing this. Let's set width 1920 by 1080. And then this way we can get started on the whole menu. And it immediately just broke. There we go. We'll just make the panel. Hello, RK. How's your day been? Let's give this an actual width of... I mean, maybe we just minus like 100 pixels off, so I guess 1820 by 980, I guess. See what that looks like. It has been good. It's good to hear. Right now, I am getting started on the Arsenal Manager menu. You were a little late. I was a little late. I got my assessments done last night, 30 minutes before they were due. So it was tight scheduling, but they're done. Now I do have one more assessment due at the end of this week. So we'll see. But it should be a little bit more smooth sailing. Definitely by the end of this next week. But I should be able to put more time into streaming this time. I have been late a lot. But we'll get there one day. Let's just send to it. I think it's... I need to remember how I did my margins. 50%? No. No, I think it is that. No, that's changing the size. I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, yeah, so right now we're getting started work on the Arsenal Manager menu, which is the main menu for seeing all of your slimes, pretty much like you can see your inventory, so the actual big menu. But since the stream started, what we have gotten added so far is slimes now have a tamed data set, so it knows who its owner is. And after we throw out the slimes, when we hold right click and there's no slime selected in our left menu, then when we run past, we'll pick up our slime, only if it's tamed to us, obviously. So we got that working. So now we can throw and pick up our slimes, which will be really good. And really smooth, I think, because it's set up in a way where you can basically run right past your slime. It's based on once they enter a pickup radius, which is good because if there's like a broken, like a cracked wall here that we need to blow up to traverse, we just throw it, it blows up, and as I run past, I can pick up my slime, which I think will keep exploration and movement a little bit cleaner instead of, you know, you throw it, then you have to stop, find it, look at it, hold right click. So that's what we got done just earlier in the stream. And now we're looking at getting the Arsenal Manager, the actual big panel, working. Hello, Arif. So let's go ahead and give this a solid color. We'll give it like a nice blue. Something there, maybe like a 20, 25 brightness type of thing. And then, yeah, we can go 50% down. And then in the transform Y, minus 50%, question mark. How did I do this last time? I don't remember how I centered vertically. Can it? Well, it's in a different menu. Hold up. Let's just get the HUD UI so I can check how I did this with the reticle. It's 50%, yeah, minus 50% translation. And then just 2 autos and zeroed out on the sides. That makes sense. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's see. We have negative 50%, so I think it's just here. We need to set these to auto, not to 50%. Which, in fairness, makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, I'm definitely doing something wrong. And I don't remember. This, in fairness, RK, this is exactly why I shouldn't be taking like a week-long break. Because I forget how I did things. Oh, that's just horrible. Okay, I mean, it seems like we can just do 0% translation. I don't know why we have to do 50% on the reticle then. I might need to look into that. But this works for now, I guess. Let's curve this out a little bit. 20 pixels, I think, should be fine. Any grammar mistakes? There's always way too many grammar mistakes. It's just the big downside of having to do so much code, and even when we're doing visual stuff, we're putting in individual values. We're always making grammar mistakes, which sucks. Okay. So I want to figure out how I'm going to make this work. The manager, Arsenal manager menu UI. So what I'm thinking is let's have a look at some other menus from other games. So for example, if we looked at Ark Survival Ascended's menu, we can see how they have the different tabs at the top. So I'm wondering what could be the best method for us. Now, we're going to need an inventory screen, an Arsenal manager screen, a map page. What other pages would we need? Maybe a blueprints page. I mean, you're going to have to unlock them somehow, I guess. Let's also check out Grounded 2's menus. Don't overwork yourself. I don't know. Overworking is sometimes fun. Sometimes it can be bad, but sometimes it's fun. Just depends on what the work is, in my opinion. Okay, so do they have... I haven't played Grounded 2, so I don't know what is different about their menu from Grounded 1. Because it looks like... Is it the dial that's the menu? Like the different tabs? Because Grounded 1's very simple. Inventory, status, craft, stuff. I don't know what Grounded 2 is doing. It's strange. Okay. Well, we definitely will need a crafting page, I would say. I think any stats and any player stuff, we'll just have that in the inventory menu. I don't think we need a separate tab for that. And I guess like the settings tab, right? Where we can... No, honestly, I don't even think we need settings realistically, because that'll happen in the pause menu. Should we have a tab for like tracking all of our tamed slimes? I'm not sure if that's realistically needed, but if we said tracking menu, like Ark Ascended has a very poor version in my opinion, but like you can track these are the ones that you're currently taming, and then these are all your current tamed groups. I feel like that's probably not needed. Not sure. I mean, realistically, you shouldn't have tamed creatures running around everywhere, right? Like, you have tamed slimes at your base, at another base, or they'll be in your inventory. So there shouldn't be much risk of losing them, but if you do throw a slime off, like, a bridge, you might want to know where they are, because that could get bad fast. We could always put that in the map, though. Tracking any slimes through an icon on the map. I think we can probably leave it out for now. So that leaves us with, essentially, an inventory, the arsenal page, your crafting menu, and the map. And maybe a journal for, like, quests, I guess. If we're even going to have quests. I don't know if we will. So we'll leave it at those four then. Inventory, arsenal, map, and... was it? And crafting. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I think that'll work. So what we might need to do then is... I mean, we should be designing this just as one big panel, I think, instead of having it just for the Arsenal Manager. That makes more sense to me. So let's make a new visual element. We're going to call this toolbar, I guess. I might change that name, but for now, toolbar. The width 100%. Height can be auto. And inside of it, we can create basically just a list of buttons. Let's work on these separately. So let's give this a class. We'll call it page button. Can I? Oh. Page button extract. There we go. Okay. Now, what we'll do is set the width, auto. Nope. Where's that not working? I have to work, but I still listen on what you do. That's fair enough. I don't know what time it is for you. I think you said what it was like in the first stream I did, but I've forgotten. For me, it's like nearly 9 PM now, so quite late. I don't know why, maybe just containers. Cover, nope. Oh wait, no, this is background. What am I saying? Hold up. Where are we? Here, size, okay, here we go. The width. One on here. Fair enough. Yeah. Gotta get back to work then. I feel like auto width. USS is so messed up compared to CSS. I mean, let's just set the text of the button first, I guess. So this button will be called Arsenal. We'll start with the Arsenal, given it's what we're working on now anyways. Let's make the background transparent, which it seemingly already is, but clearly we can see it. Yeah, okay, that's definitely not transparent. Is it just the image tint, I guess? Nope. Maybe it's the button itself? Down. Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense. I don't want any variables though, because page buttons should have priority over buttons, which it seems like it's not, which is why we're having this issue. So like if we go to the background, it's not letting me add binding? No. I mean, it has the class, right? That's just annoying. I mean, we can just set it here, I guess. It's not a big deal, but definitely annoying. Same thing with like the width. I mean, if it's gonna force me to have a fixed width, we'll just go like a width of 100 pixels. Now in the toolbar, let's justify everything to the center. Let's align item center. And let's go ahead and set the text size up here. Let's go like a 24, maybe. See, again, like it's just not updating at all. Really annoying. Okay. I mean, unsetting it all. No, it doesn't do anything. It's just so weird. Font size is 24. Okay, so that is updating. That's good. We'll give it a bold. Let's just see what the size looks like. Like a 32, I think would be a better text size. And let's give the toolbars just a little bit of padding. We'll go like a 10 pixel padding. And the toolbar should have no growth. And we can give it a border at the bottom. We'll give that border maybe like 3 pixels maybe. And give it an actual color. Just make it black for now. And then for the page buttons, let's remove any border colors. Which again, like yeah, it's all being added directly into the button and not into the class that we made, which feels completely useless. Maybe we'll just set the alpha to 0, I guess. And we'll make the text white. That way we can actually see what settings we're on. For now. I mean, we'll pick an actual good color in the future. And let's hit play because the game manager menu or game scene view always breaks. Here we go. And then we'll just be able to switch between Arsenal, inventory, and all the others. We can just duplicate these 4. And then in the toolbar, let's give it a flex direction of left to right. And align the content to the center. No. There we go. Okay, justify content center. Right. Yeah. Okay, I get that. Okay. Cool. Let's pick some pages. We'll go inventory button. And then we'll just set the text to inventory. We'll rename that Arsenal button. Make a craft button. And we'll also make the map button. There we go. Cool. And what we'll do, and what a lot of people do, just to make the panels feel a little bit better, a little bit higher quality, is we're going to drop the opacity just a little bit, maybe 90%, we'll see. And what would be nice is if we could add in a blur. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be possible or not, so let's quickly check that, but otherwise, we'll just see if the transparency by itself works. It looks like there's an asset store thing, but might not be built into Unity. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to have a blur. I mean, that's fine. It's not like a blur's needed. We'll see if transparency works enough. I think we should probably make it a little bit less blurry. Like, it needs to be visible, right? So it can't ever be too transparent. You need to be able to see what you're working on. You just want a slight transparency because it makes it feel more like a menu that's over, like on your eyes, rather than, you know, a brand new window that you're working on. Grounds it a bit into the game, essentially. Maybe 98% for now. We'll see. Yeah, it works for now. So we have inventory, arsenal, craft, and map. We might rename that to crafting. I think that makes more sense. Oh. Yeah, we'll leave it as craft. That's fine. So then we just go create essentially all of the panels. Okay. So we have the panel. We're going to work on the arsenal first. So what we'll do is we'll create a new visual element. And we'll basically just be creating one visual element for every single menu. So this visual element will be called arsenal page. Put that underneath the panel. And it'll just fill the space automatically for us, which is great. Now we can just add in all of our other bits. So we'll add another visual element for the team viewer. But remember, I can't have spaces. And then inside of the team viewer, we'll actually just style the team viewer first, I think, because I think what we'll do for the actual slime options in the team viewer is they'll probably be buttons themselves, but they might be visual elements as well. We'll see. First, though, let's just get the team viewer working. So we'll make it a good light gray, maybe 60 or so. And give it a hint of blue, just so that it looks a little bit nicer. There we go. Something there. And let's go ahead and manually set the width. Something like about 700. Height should be... I don't know if we can do math in this. Let's just see. No. That's annoying. The height, what we want is basically 100% minus like a padding, essentially. So we can actually make that in a different method then, though. Change the grow to 0. Then make the height 100%. And on the arsenal page itself, we'll give that some padding. Give it a padding of 10 pixels. We'll go 25, I think. It should look a little bit nicer. And now we can see our team viewer, which right now is in fairness just a grey box. What we should probably do is give it some slight border radius as well, because slight curved border radiuses just make it look a little bit more professional. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at 10. Let's also change the border color for the toolbar, because I really don't like black. Black, I think one key design choice that people should always take to heart: if you have a primary color that is dark, so in this case the background, right, it's dark, everything around it's dark, everything that's an accent should be light. And same thing, if you have a white background, you want the darker grays as your accents. So in this case, we'll go for a much, much brighter color, and we might even integrate an actual color into it, so it's not just a gray. Like, we can make an actual nice bright blue somewhere here. And then that looks better than black, at least, right? We'll be adding actual images to make it look really nice in the future, but for now, just to get the general idea across. So now what we need to do is add in a button in the team viewer, and this button will be for each individual team member, right? So each slime. And the way that's going to work is relatively simple. So in the team viewer, let's go ahead and see if we can basically give it a grid. I'm not sure if that's fully possible using a Unity style sheets. But essentially what we want is 2 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically 2 rows of 3 each to make the team viewer. Pretty much what Pokemon has. It's kind of a good distribution. Not sure if there's going to be a grid option though. I mean, you got a group box. Let's see what that does. I don't see anything special about it. I don't know what a group box would do. That might be something to look into. But now let's just create a new class. We're going to call this Arsenal. For now, we'll just call it Arsenal Slime Button, I guess. Let's rename that. Arsenal Slime Button. Extract. There we go. Now we have 2 of them. Why do we have 2 of them? Okay. I'm not sure if this is going to work again, because the buttons seem to be very strange on what it actually works and doesn't. We'll see. Yeah, because like the background here, it's already, there's no background, but wants to force something. So the width should be 50%, though we should have some padding, and this is where you really want a grid. I think what seems to be the best way, I'm just looking at it on my other monitor. What seems to be the best way that I can figure out is just commit to flex spot, essentially. Which is a bit of a shame, but it does allow us to do a few things. So, if we give it a... No... I don't know, because maybe not. Let's just copy and paste a few of these buttons. Set one of them to a width of like, 38%. Just so that we can see what's happening. If we did a flex bot, it's always going to be like all of them to the right, which is not what we want, because we want two separate columns. Unless there's going to be a method. Okay, so if we put a wrap to it, then we could do left to right. That would work. Okay. Then we center everything like that, and align content center. Then Arsenal Slime button. Let's unset all of these values on them so we can just keep using the class. There we go. On the team viewer, make sure we have no padding. Then the Arsenal Slime buttons, we can give it something like 47%, maybe 48, 49, 49 is too much. 48%. I don't know why there's like this extra gap. Not too sure what's going on there. I'm not too sure why there's a gap. Because we don't have any padding, right? So there shouldn't be any gaps here unless the buttons themselves creating one, but it doesn't look like it. I mean, you can clearly see like there is a margin to the buttons, but I'm pretty sure that's mostly just the flex. But I guess we can have a look. Zero out the margins. Actually, that does look like it's done something. Not sure. We might leave it for now, to be honest. So then, Arsenal Slime button. Let's just go and mess with the height and stuff. We'll give it a 40 pixel height or something. Like usual, the heights just don't want to update. I don't know what it is with buttons specifically. They don't want to update to their class. Oh, is that... Am I doing the background again? Here. 40 pixels. Okay. You can size that up. Let's duplicate the buttons twice more again, because we have 6 slimes. And see just what type of height we can actually reach. Okay. So we can reach like a height of nearly 300 if we're trying to fit completely. Like if we put them on a grow 1 and height to auto. No, that's not going to actually change anything, because of course it won't. We can go 270 pixels. Now to me, I feel like that's a bit too square. Though, in fairness, our slimes are very squared, aren't they? Like, they're just their icon. So what we could probably do is just to make it a little bit less square, because we're still going to need to have enough room for the name, as well as some very basic info. So what we can do is drop this to like 240 pixels. Drop it to 200 pixels. I think that looks a little bit nicer. Then we can change the margins. So right now it has very strange margins. So we can essentially create some pretty large, like, vertical margins to space them out a bit more. Like 25 by 25 or something. Maybe 30 by 30? Something like that. And the other thing is we can obviously always just move the team viewer itself. We can make it smaller. Wouldn't be the worst. I mean, it doesn't really need to be this big. Let's actually just see what it looks like in game view. So you go to your Arsenal. I mean, that's a decent amount of space just to see. We can maybe extend it a little bit more horizontally. If we were to make it less vertical, right? So shrink the height. The question then becomes, what do we put in the empty space that's left below, right? So I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I could do there. Because all the information on that slime that you select is going to be in the right. The stats, the name, the description, the slime type, all of that. In the center or so, it'd be nice to kind of get like an image of your slime. So I wouldn't want to mess with that too much. I don't think there's really anything that we can put at the bottom. The other option is just to literally have a cut, which honestly might not be the worst idea. Like, if we just add a new visual element into the panel, it has an auto width. We give it a height of, say, 100 pixels. Maybe even a little bit more, like 120 pixels. And we just give it a slight opacity or so, 25% or so. We're looking at maybe way more opacity. We get like 60%. We could do that. That's honestly not the worst idea. Like, just straight up having a cut. Because there's no need for this much space, right? You don't want too much gap between the buttons, but you also don't want super square buttons, because then it's really hard to show information. So here, we can essentially have a big circle and then some basic information on the right. I think we still need to stretch that out a bit more. So let's do that. So we'll make this even darker. Go to like a 70 opacity. We will need to make the border radius the same, which I believe is 20 pixels. That way it's just not cutting there. But it's only 20 on the bottom. So we'll go 0 on the top. Then we can go to the team viewer, extend that out just a little bit. 720, maybe 750. We'll see what it ends up looking like, right? But for now, then our Arsenal slime button, we can drop that margins down. I mean, if we went to like 15 by 15, maybe even less, like 12 by 12 or something, yeah. I think that looks a lot better. We're gonna console errors, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. We'll just make this, I guess, call it page cutter or something. Okay. Let's give a little border radius to our buttons. We can go 35% or so. And then let's start filling in some more information on the right side. So we'll put in a new visual element. This one will just be called information panel, I guess. And we'll give it a set width. 750. Let's get 800. The real question becomes, like, first we set this to auto so it's on the right. We need this at the same size, so we'll go Arsenal page. Everything should be right aligned. Well, like left to right, sorry. And take away the glow. So now we can start adding in all of our actual information text here. And there's going to be quite a bit, right? We're going to need the name of our slime, the type of slime it is, the description of the slime, any stats, as well as like a small thing on the bottom for the 4 abilities that that slime has. So let's start with the name, slime name. And let's start increasing this text a ton. Where is it? Here. Let's center it here. And make the text white. Let's go name. Let's also make it a little bit less wide. Maybe something like 600 or so. Does not need to be that big. So 600, you have the slime's name. Put that in bold. And then we'll make another thing for the slime type, which will not be bold. Will be smaller. 18 pixels or so. And we want to have a border between the name and the type. So we'll put that on the name. We'll give it a bottom border, 3 pixels or so. Give it a solid color, and we'll give it. We can try the same blue that we're using for the top. We'll see if that looks any good, but for now, let's click off. Name. And we'll call this slime type. It's not the worst. Then we'll copy that again. This is a description. Let's actually get a Lorem Ipsum generator. Lorem Ipsum is just a text generator that gives you absolute gibberish. But it's perfect for if you need to write a description. And we need to give it an actual overflow as well as a... Well, actually... yeah. Maybe. I mean, surely it's just not overflowing at all. Interesting. Here, right. There we go. Okay. And we'll give the text alignment like a top align. That way we can just change this height as we see fit. I think maybe 250 at most. I mean, description should not be that long, right? They're basic description to essentially describe the slime type. So we can go ahead and cut that paragraph down a ton, something there. And everything should be left aligned for description text. Always left aligned for description text. Give it a height of 200 pixels. There we go. I think we can probably go a larger name size, I think. Maybe we can go 32 on that. We just need to be careful because we want to have a slightly smaller than the menus at the top. I think that generally looks better. So we'll go 28. Then slime type can be, 22. Description stays at 18. Okay. Now, I don't know if we're going to have many stats, per se, for the slimes. I mean, they're not going to be able to dive, right? So, we do need the type of slime it is, I guess. Like, the category that we have. So, in Abound Worlds, how we have, like, a fire category, a water category, air, terror, mystic, gilded. So we definitely want a spot for its category or the typing of slime it is, as well as I don't know, maybe it could be cool to have like a little timer or something. It could be cool to have like a little timer, which shows the, like, how long you've had the slime, how long it's been tamed. Let's go work on the abilities first. I think that probably makes the most sense. And abilities will work pretty much very similar to how the slimes are laid out, except there's only 4, right? So we'll make a new panel for it, call it abilities. Abilities panel. Can't do spaces, gotta remember that. And then very similar to the team buttons. We're going to be making new custom buttons though, obviously. Or even... I don't even know if we need to have them as buttons. We will, for now. I mean, we can always change it, but... not sure if we're going to need that. For now though, let's create a button. Give it a class. Ability button, and in the abilities panel, let's go ahead and color it the exact same way we're coloring the team viewer. We'll just go there, hexadecimal, and put the same one in, like so. And we'll give it even the same border radius of, I think it's at 10 pixels. And then ability buttons will have also be smooth, 15 pixels or so. And we'll give them like a set height, 100% or so. Now let's go to the abilities panel, and what we're going to do, same way here, we want 2 columns. So the easiest method for that is allow for overflow, make it left to right sizing, and then in the ability buttons, give the width 50%. Let's also duplicate these buttons. Go 48%, sure. And let's just start centering everything. So justify content and align items so that it's all centered. Now let's create 4 more buttons. There we go. And drop the growth. Give it a padding of 10 pixels. Only on the sides, I think, makes more sense. No, sorry. Only vertically makes more sense. 10 pixels and 10 pixels. And then we will position this, I guess, on the bottom. Don't know what the easiest method would be there. There should be an absolute position option, so just need to find that here. Yeah, so bottom, make that a 0. We'll have to keep it relative. I mean, could just go negative 135 or something. If we went to the, because we kind of want it to be at the same vertical as the bottom of the team viewer, so not sure exactly what that would be. It'd be nice if it worked like CSS and we could just position it a little bit easier, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. We just zoom all the way in, I guess. It looks to be the same. Okay. I think that's coming along pretty decently. I mean, we might drop the name width, I think, a bit. Let's center it, though. Why did that break? Should be no shrinking. No. What is going on? Okay. Definitely don't center it that way. Line content, nope. I mean, what we want to do, all we want to do, I guess, is we're going to shrink the name size because we don't want the border, that blue line, we just don't want it to be that big, right? Like 450 might be a more reasonable size, maybe even less, like 400 we could try. Now to get that centered without breaking our abilities panel, I don't know why it wants to just break like that. Okay, we'll just give it a width of 100% then. That's fine. Okay. And the name could be, even 350 would work. Yeah, let's leave it at 400, I think. That'll be fine. And we'll just drop the margin for the slime type text, the vertical margin, and the padding, because we want it to be close to the borderline. Same thing with the name, we might just drop that margin that's below it. We'll give it slime type a margin of 2. There we go. I think that's decent. I mean, obviously there's still some things to be worked on and actually get some images added and whatnot. I think it definitely works as a good concept, though, on how the menus will kind of be laid out. We still need to add the slimes category, as well as maybe how long it's been tamed to you. Like, I feel like it'd be cool, because we still have this much space before you get to the 4 abilities that slime has. So we have enough space to probably add some basic stats, especially because we're not going to have actual stats, right? Like, slimes aren't going to really have 20 health, 10 damage, anything like that. So if we just want to add the category first, I guess, that'll probably be right next to the slime type, though. Where if we give the slime type in the center, oh, it's actually slime description. Okay, slime type in the center. I feel like just to the right of it, maybe even just an icon, to be honest. Because, like, it really doesn't need to be much. Just an icon, and if you hover over it, it could tell you potentially, oh, it's this type of slime or something. Or, like, this category. And then we'll just have, when we go here, we'll just have individual icons for fire slimes, water slimes, air slimes, and so on. That wouldn't be too hard to add in. That would be, I think, just a visual element. I think. We put that in under the slime type. Drop the glow. And we'll give it like a decent sizing of, 20 by 20, maybe. Position at absolute. To the right. Oh, relative. To the right. And let's just set the background color and make the border radius 50%, so it's a circle. We can look into this. So slime type has an auto width right now, which is where some of this issue is coming from. So let's increase the size by to 150, and let's honestly bring back the padding just so that it's dead centered. And then this visual element up here, we can give it a left alignment. Nope. Right alignment? Nope. Okay, we can go slime. Under the slime type, we can change align items to the right. And then we just move it over, I don't know, minus 25 or so. Something like that. I mean, it'll be an actual image, right? Like an icon of that slime type. So that's not the worst. And then if we made the paragraph itself, if we remove the padding on that, and even the margin on that, just to keep everything a little bit more centered. It's not the worst. Then if we just want to add in, what would be some cool stats to add? Definitely how long you've had the slime for, right? So tamed date or something, or it could just literally be 100 in-game days and just leave it at that. Which I don't know which one would like be cooler for people to see. Because if you tamed a slime, 2 years ago, you could either see that you tamed it on the 6th of the 10th, 2023, or you would just see 50 in-game days. Right? That feels like it's not as important as a date. So let's go ahead. Let's make a new panel. Let's call this stats panel. And we'll do the exact same thing as the abilities panel. Can I just... Okay, what if I were... It's absolutely positioned, so... Oh, that is working now. Okay, I don't know why it wasn't working before. Okay, stats panel. Let's give it 0 growth, like usual. 100% width. Then let's start adding some stats. Let's give it some height for now. So we definitely want a date tamed label. Call that. Gotta remember, can't have spaces. Date tamed or so. Now, I don't think we can have some of the text bold and some of the text not. So we might need to have this as 2 parts to the labels. Which would be fine, I think. We can do it like that then. Date tamed would be in bold. Give it text size of 18. And then inside of it, we'll give the actual date. So we'll do today's date for now. 06/10/2025. And let's have a look here. If I aligned it all to the right, you could also make slimes stronger the longer they have been tamed by giving special powers. Yeah, I think... I don't know, to be honest. Like, we might have ways... Well, we'll definitely have ways to make the slimes stronger, right? For example, how you throw the slimes. Right now, they're just literally throw the slime. And in the future, you'd be able to unlock like a gun or like a blaster to shoot them. And because they're going faster, they're stronger. I think probably best not to have it based on time. Because time's such a weird thing in games, right? Because you got like real life time, which you could do, but then people get annoyed because they have to wait like literally 10 days for something to happen. Or you do in-game days, but then if someone can't play for like 2 days, then their slime's not as strong as it could have been. Though, in fairness, I guess if you're building upgrades, it's going to be the same anyways, right? I'm not sure. Let's see here. Okay, we can't just give it a shrink one, because that's clearly not doing anything. Width should definitely be auto. I mean, we just want this to the left of it. I don't know why Unity's UI toolkit just sucks, frankly. I think for now we might just leave them on the same, like same text and just it's in bold. You know, what are we gonna do about it? If we're doing that though, we'll remove like that square line. We'll just give it standard colons, I guess. Okay. Date tamed. What other stats would work well? Region court doesn't make much sense because the slimes only really spawn in one region. Could give it like some semi-goofy stats like favorite food or something. I could do that. We could also do... Well, we can do stats like gender or something, right? Just all the standard stats that you have creatures have. I mean, what does Pokemon even have as stats? They have levels. If we're doing a level, it'd definitely be next to the name. But I am hesitant to add levels in right now, just because... I mean, the whole gameplay loop is still technically to be decided, right? Like, we have a lot of ideas, but whether or not they actually have hard set number levels or not, that's a whole nother question. I think for now we can just leave it as date tamed, to be honest. I think that's fine. I mean, this is just to get like an idea of this is what the Arsenal manager is going to look like. So I think this looks pretty good. Now, as a selected slime, as a selected page button, let's go ahead and create a button, a class for that. That's here. Selected page button. And for the page buttons that are already selected, maybe we give it a background color. I think that'd be fine. Obviously, it needs to be an actual good color that's not pitch black. You can just get the panels color, I guess. Selected page button. And yeah, just increase the value a ton, I guess. 40, some more saturation, like 30. And then all of the page buttons should be, should have a curved radius. 5 pixels should be enough. There we go. Now you just know this is the page you're on. The Arsenal page in this case. Let's see. I mean, I'll probably only be on for like another 8 minutes or so. So let's try to finish off this Arsenal menu. we're not going to be able to connect it all, like actually have the buttons work. That'll be next stream's task. And the good news, next stream should, and I will preface this, should be tomorrow. We'll see, but you know, my assessments are done, at least until this weekend, I guess. So I have a bit more free time to actually work on stuff. Okay, so for all of our slimes, let's go ahead and remove the text from all of these buttons because we don't need them. And let's just add in the slime icons, which are just going to be circles, same as everything else that we've been doing for slime icons for the like team viewer, for example, the one on the HUD. So yeah, we'll just go give it a width, you know, 50 pixels. Nope, that's way too little. 150 pixels by 150 pixels. With a growth of 0. Now, all of these buttons, which are Arsenal Slime buttons, let's go ahead and center its content. Justify content, yep. And this icon, we can give it a color. Make it pure white, why not? Give it a 50% radius. We'll just call it slime icon. And we'll call the button something like slime button. Why not? And let's also give the icon, just because we're testing it all out, let's give it the actual basic slime image, I guess. Which definitely clearly needs to move a bit. We could try to make it the circle again. Like, I like the look of the actual icons. I just want it to show the full image. For some reason, maybe if we just had no radius, I guess. Yeah, let's do that for now. I think that looks pretty good. There's something on the top here. Like, you can see a tiniest of gray lines here, which is not great. But other than that, you can see like the full 2D image, so that's good. Then let's add in the slime's name. So we'll put that under slime button. We'll call it slime name. And for slime button itself, we're going to need to make these all go to the right. So we'll center it like that. And we'll add in a visual element for this called slime details. Gotta remember no spaces and put the slime name in there. Okay. And then that way, slime details works pretty simply. It should be larger than that. I don't know what's going on there, but well, the height should be, you know, all the way at the top. I guess we can just set height 100%. And then slime name, let's give it decent sized text, 24 so, make it bold, add a space in the center. And now these can be in black because the actual team viewer is in white. So that should be fine. Let's change the font size down to like 18 though. It does not need to be. Yeah, we'll go 22. We'll go 22. Slime name. We'll have the slime type. And maybe at most like part of the description. We don't want much information here because you'll be clicking on the button and it will show you all of the information on the right side. So it'll simply be slime name, slime type, and maybe the description, I guess. Slime type. We can unbold this text here and remove all of that margin because we do not need a margin this big. And even like that top padding, I think. Yeah, we'll go all the way down. And we can make the slime type even smaller. And paste it again. Let's left align this time. Make it the slime description, in which we'll just use the same lorem ipsum text as before. Here. Now the difference is we want this text to still overflow. So we'll allow it to wrap. Here, there we go. But we don't want it to wrap beyond the bounds. That's the big thing here. Text overflow would be an ellipsis, I guess. It's not really doing anything, is it? Text overflow should go to an ellipsis, which is the 3 dots. We should say, I mean, we should allow it to wrap, but it just shouldn't be overflowing. It should be clipping, which it's clearly not. I don't know if there's any other options I can do though. Oh, okay, we actually have to turn on overflow. That makes sense, I guess. And then we can allow it to wrap. There we go. Let's see. What should change, what shouldn't? If we go 22... Honestly, maybe we just make this text even smaller, like a 14 or something. And then we can leave that at 18. I feel like that's not too bad. Like we can delete all of those old buttons and just start spamming in this new button. I think that's pretty good. So you'll be able to select from your slimes on the left, which if I remember, we can't actually add shadows yet, which is stupid. So it'd be nice to make it look better, but you can select your slimes on the left. you see their name, the type of slime, obviously the icon of the slime, as well as like the brief description, which I might change to just like a stat or something. But you can select one of the slimes and it'll bring up the right menu where it shows you the abilities that the slime has had or has, the stats like the date, time, the date it was tamed, the name, type, the full category of the slime, the description, all of that. As far as functionality and like reason why we'd have this Arsenal page, I don't know. I think for the most part it's about looking at these stats. I think this will be where you might be able to change your abilities, or at least you can go here to read what abilities your slimes have. You'll definitely be able to essentially move the slimes around, so you can change the order in which your slimes are in the arsenal, which will also change the order in which let's hide that. Will change the order in which they appear in the left menu in the team viewer, which will allow you to be able to pretty much pick the order. So you can go, if you want like a very quick setup, you might have your top 3 movement slimes, right? So one for bouncing, one for giving you like run speed or something in the first 3 slots, so it's easy to access. And then in the bottom 3 slots, you have more of like your combat focused or puzzle focused ones. And that's just completely up to you. So I think that'll work well. I think this menu honestly looks pretty good. I think the slime icons definitely help sell it a bit in my eyes. Like it looks a little bit higher quality just because there's actually an image there with a shadow, because I can paint shadows, I just can't apparently add them to the UI, which is stupid. And then we'll just need to add buttons, like finish off the abilities. And I guess that'll be next stream. So I'll leave it here. Next stream, I want to get the rest of the team manager done. So that'll be implementing the ability to actually open your arsenal. I don't know what key that is yet, so if you have any recommendations on what key would be best, might just be like J or something. Something kind of out of the way because it's not going to be too common to press. Then I'll also want to get, obviously, the abilities showing, and like the design of the ability buttons. And I also want to actually connect all the data, right? When you open your arsenal, you should see your actual slimes that you have. When you click on them, only then it should show your slime panel on the right. So I definitely want to get that done next stream. And realistically, once the arsenal system is done, once this menu is done, that's pretty much the entire arsenal system, right? There's almost nothing left. So we'll get that done. That'll be next stream. Hopefully that'll be tomorrow, but clearly my promises mean not much right now. But we're getting there. And then after that, so after next stream, I will probably spend some time working on the devlog video. I might stream working on the devlog video, who knows. But after that, we'll be getting into 2 main things. First, world building. I want to start making the levels, make it look nice. I guess 3 things. I want to get the world looking nice. Then, I want to add character model and animations. It's not going to be the final character model, but one that we can actually see the player grabbing the capsule and throwing the slimes and all of that. And then thirdly, we're going to add new slime types. All of the blueprint is here now, so let's hide this Arsenal Manager menu. When we throw slimes, it's already detects now that it's been thrown, right? So it already detects, because as a way to stop the player from essentially instantly picking up a slime that is still in the air, you throw it, and the moment it lands on impact, it gets counted as no longer thrown, which means we can get straight started into actual slime abilities, because they can detect that they have hit something, then we just need to make the ability for what they do after they hit. With that said, I think we'll probably start. I actually have the list. Let's actually see what I had. We have a list of things for like a workable demo. What will I need? An explosive slime, a bouncy slime, an ice slime, and a sticky slime. I think we will start with a bouncy slime. I'm not sure what type of slime that is yet of our slime list, because it could be technically kind of any one of these. It might be its own type of slime. I'm not sure. But if we get a slime that can, essentially what it'll do, at least one of its core abilities, will be you can throw the slime, and on impact, it will basically splatter onto the ground. Then the player will run up and jump on that splatter on the ground, and they will bounce up. That's essentially all it is, right? They will land and bounce. I think if we're going to make like a slime that has all of these abilities, it might combine with the sticky slime, right? So like it could either bounce or stick. I'm not sure. We'll see. But that'll be the next slime. After that, it'll be either the ice slime or the inferno slime, because I really want to get started on them at some point. The ice slime's going to be really cool with procedural ice generation, so it can actually create stuff and form around objects. And the inferno slime, I mean, who doesn't like a fire-breathing slime? But that'll all be for next time. And after we finish the Arsenal system, which is almost done. We're one stream away from getting this finalized, and then we can get started on everything else. So hopefully we can get the stream done tomorrow. We'll see. But with that said, I'll see you next time, and we'll get the Arsenal system done then.